So here we are going to go ahead and style our text, which, is easy to do in Illustrator, but the main advantage that InDesign has is that you create a library of styles and you keep consistency. So I have paragraph styles over here. I'm going to go ahead and take it out, close it out, in case you don't have it over here. I'm going to go to Window and show you under here under Styles. Window to Styles to Paragraph Styles, Command F11. How to use that short key? I tend to use the pull down menu. But here it is. And I'll drag it back over my right side dock. So my paragraph styles here is blank. And now we're going to go ahead and start creating styles. So I'm going to go ahead and blow up. And I'm going to go ahead and work with appetizers, which is our menu heading. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this little icon for new, and it brings up, now it highlights basic paragraph style, but truly this is what we want. This is our new style, paragraph style 1. I double click on it, bring it in here, and I'm going to call it menu heading. It's important to name things something that makes sense to you. So Helvetica New is the default. I don't like that. Let's see, I have Museo Sans 300. But just realize if you don't have these fonts, just pick something you think works for you, but try to get the sizing the same as myself. I'm going to go ahead, 18, I'm going to go ahead and go to 20 point. over 24, and indents and spacing is the fourth element down. I'm going to go ahead and give it a little space before, a little space after. Whoops, there we go. The up buttons, adding space, the down buttons, taking away space. Instead of alignment left, I want to center it. As you can see, it is centering. Want to add a little bit of interest too. Character color. Maybe we'll add the green from our logo colors to again add that branding consistency throughout. Or maybe I'll make it brown. The next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead, I can also change the tint. I can lower the tint so it's lighter. Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to keep it 100%. I'm going to go to underline options, underline on. The weight, I'm going to say 3 point, offset 2 point. That sounds good. I can change the look of the line. I'm going to keep it solid for now. Oh wait, that's not what I want. Let's try a paragraph rule, because that only underlined the word. I want to underline the entire space. So I'm going to say rule below, turn the rule on, the weight, and you can see it previewing. I have the preview button clicked on so I can see it previewing. Preview button on, very important, so I can see what I'm doing. Now, let's see, offset. I'm going to negative, makes it rise up, but if I click the up arrow, it pushes it down. There we go. Actually, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I want to change the colors. Let's go back to paragraph rules, and instead of this text color, let's go ahead and make it green. Okay. So now that I have, and I'm going to do a command and space, let's click away. Option, command, and space bar allow me to use the magnifier down, or I could click on magnifying glass And I can do an option click and I can make it reduce. That's a little bit too small. Hold down the space bar, move this over. I'm going to go to specialty pizzas, make that a menu heading. How it works, make that a menu heading. Sandwiches and more. Again, I want consistency. And there we go. So now I have, and like you saw, I can easily change the colors to something else. So now I'm going to add a new one. I'm going to go and select all these. And I'm going to create a new style, which is again paragraph style 1. I'm going to double click on this. And I'm going to call this menu items. Basic character formats. Again, Museo. Maybe I'll do 700 this time. Whoop. Magnifying glass. No, can't do it in here. Maybe I'll go to 14 over 14, but indents and spacing, add a little space above, add a little space below, and go OK. So over here, menu heading, whoops, menu items. And CYOP, menu items, sandwiches and more, menu items. There we go. And maybe I'll go ahead and just highlight all these menu items. Okay. So we're starting to add a little bit of style to our overall look. Just so you see, this underlined under CYOP, if we go under Edit and Spelling, Dynamic Spelling is turned on. What that means is that, oops, I just turned it off, Edit, Spelling, Dynamic Spelling. What it's saying is that this is not a recognized word in the dictionary. So create your own pizza prices, CYOP, is not in our dictionary. So just a fun little fact. Very helpful. I'm going to go ahead and keep it because it makes sense for what we're doing for today. So now we're going to create a new paragraph style for small, medium, and large. And we're going to call this pizza heading. We're going to go ahead and use our Museo Sans. We're going to go ahead and crank it up to 18 point. There we go. And now we're going to change these up a bit. And, well, actually, what I want to do is change our descriptions. So we're going to create a new element. Again, click on this, and we're going to call it just description. Basic character formats. Let's go ahead and change it to italic. That looks good. Maybe I'll drop it down to 12 point, a little bit smaller. And so description will now apply to all of these elements. So again, we're creating typographic hierarchy by changing the layers of information. We're changing our hierarchy. Makes it easier to read because we have several different layers of information going on. Typographic hierarchy. So in order to increase typographic hierarchy, I'm going to go ahead and highlight this description. And I want to change, I think I'm going to go down 1 point, change it to 11. But we're going to go to character color. Now, we're not going to change the color, but we're going to change the tint. I'm going to drop it down to 85%. This is changing it to a light gray, and you can see preview is changing these elements. And I'm going to go ahead and go to indents and left indent. Again, by indenting it, it gives it a little bit more emphasis and separates it more from what we have going on with the other headers. Now, one thing that I see that I don't like is that the space between the description and the element that it describes is larger than the space above it. That is a real amateur mistake. So we got to go back in and correct that. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight the menu item, and I'm going to go back to indents and spacing, and space before, I'm going to give it more space. And the space after, I'm going to go ahead and reduce it. That helps some. I'm going to increase the space before. And it's not really affecting it the way I was hoping. I think I'm going to have to go back into the description. And let's go back to indents and spacing. So space before, let's say 0.075. And tab. And space after, let's increase. There we go. Now when I look at this, this is a unit, Big Hawaii and then marinara sauce. The space after these elements is bigger than the space between these two elements. So much, much better. It just reads better. So I'm going to go to the back page. Let's go ahead and we've ignored this. Let's go ahead and go back. I'm going to go ahead and go into Object, Text Frame Options. To cancel that, I'm going to go to Swatches, and let's give this a background color. So now I can see it. Great. And now, let's go to Text Frame Options and take a look. So what we need is we need a little bit of space, and now you see the chain links it all together. But my preview's not turned on. Now we're starting to see that increase in space. So I did it a quarter inch, 0.25 inches. Looks better. Let's go ahead and highlight. Go back to paragraph styles. Call this a menu heading. Go back, menu items. And there we go. So let's see. I think that is it for now. Okay, so now we'll move on to the next chapter, creating tables.